Today we're going to be bringing forth the discussions on health, especially as it concerns community medicine in Nigeria. What is a proper perspective? We have with us today, this morning, Dr. Ugwunnasignature Chinedu. He is consultant community health physician, UNTH Itukozala, here to do justice to the topic, community medicine in Nigeria, the proper perspective. Good to have you. Good morning. Thank you for joining us.
Good morning, viewers. Isn't it another time for us to rub minds together and have what the right perspective is? Good morning, once more.
So, what defines the proper perspective of community medicine, and how does it differ from the traditional medical practice?
Right. In actual sense, community medicine is a science and art of preventing diseases, promoting health, and prolonging life through organized efforts of the society. It takes care of the population, the community. Is really taking the community to be its patients, in contrast to the traditional medical practice, where one person is a patient. In other words, community medicine can equally be seen as a preventive medicine type of medicine. It's also called social medicine. It has a far-reaching, far-touching, far impact than you can call in the normal Bible they say that Saul kills one or two and David kills 1,000. It can be likened to that. We treat the society, we treat the population, not necessarily just one person. But in our practice, we still apply that through personal interaction.
Right. So basically, do you think that traditional medicine, the way we're going with that traditional medicine, it does look like a lot of us are averse to it. Some other persons are actually welcomed it. But it looks like the regulatory agencies have a lot of issues with it, because there tends to be no much regulation in that space, especially as it concerns traditional medicine. Why do you think that an average Nigerian would rather go for traditional medicine over and above, the regular medical practice?
You mean the orthodox medicine?
Absolutely.
Right. The traditional medicine, as you just go overboard, go at the back of your garden and get some leaf, and you try to squeeze it, drink it. It's cheap. It's cheaper. You don't need to go for one test or the other. So people are at home with it. Every time you do something free, you always see people cluster around it. That's the bane of traditional medicine. And when they come, they speak the language you get. They can equally tell you what is wrong with you is from your brother. What is wrong with you is from you relate to what that.
Those things.
And then within the few weeks, you've seen one kind of movement that your brother had made. Say, yes, that's it. He relates. It's cheaper. And then the things are there. But it has a far-reaching effect. That you don't pay. You look on the surface that is cheap. It's costly because it doesn't have dosage. Some of it will go down some of your organs and damage them. If you have any person, for every 10 person that have kidney problem, 9 must have taken local concussion.
For every 9?
Every 10 that has kidney problem, 9 must have had a history of taking a local concussion.
In Nigeria?
Past. Yes.
Is it with your experience?
Yes.
Wow.
If you go through the history, you will see that 9 out of that 10 must have taken herbal concussion in the past. So you see, what you think that is free becomes costly. People at home, I know, by the time they tell you, okay, the orthodox medicine will want to do investigation, is more money for you. is equal time
consuming.
You can't wait. And then this person is now telling you, take this abu, take this herb. In 3-4 days, you'll be okay. And some will just start taking it. My own problem is that even the similarly educated are saying it to it. I have a friend. What he called me 2 days ago was telling me that the wife she got some of this. He has malaria, and the wife prepared that, and then he drinks it, and he's back and strong. I say, man, watch it, watch it. No, I said what I normally call the woman is a doctor of herbal medicine, because the woman had, if she gets guava leaf, gets mango leaf, gets this other leaf, and then put it together, boil it. You know, these are slow killers. You know, I'm not saying that traditional medicine, there are a lot of strength in some of our leaves, but don't over abuse it. In that thing that is healing, there are some that are killing in it. So if you can get the element that is being healing, you can isolate it and then have a way of, you know, taking it out from that leaf and concentrating it and using it. I'll give you an example. The normal apple, palm fruit. You know, palm fruit contain vitamin A, it contains vitamin E. In fact, it's the palm fruit that they took away from here and take to Indonesia that are using one drug that are called tocopherol, and it's a vitamin E concentrate, and it's being used mightily in so many disease conditions. What I'm trying to tell you, when I and you start eating the apple, we are taking the E, we are taking the A, and we're taking some others in minute quantity. Are you getting me? So in so many of those leaves, the other constituents of those leaves that are not helping, that you equally will take when you just go and boil it and extract it. Some may even use alcohol in the extraction, and this will contribute to a lot of unwanted chemicals that will kill rather than heal. So it is very important that we bring this to for discussion so that people will always understand what they are doing. It's not necessarily just that because traditional medicine is cheap, but it's equally costly on the other hand, because at the end of the day, it may help lead you to your untimely death. Before you know it, by the time you start taking all those, they tell you again that bitter leaf cures diabetes. It's life from pit of hell. But the bitterness in bitter leaf doesn't really exclude and remove all the sugar. No. But if you use that bitter leaf as vegetable in your soup, the little quantity you're putting in your soup plate is enough to help you, dislodge some sugars that can ordinarily cause problems. It can help in your bowel movement. So I strongly believe that traditional medicine have a place. They should be regulated, and we'll get the best out of the traditional practice as a way today. It is not being well regulated.
You've highlighted a lot, especially as it concerns dosages, and we don't even know which school you would have to go to in order to practice traditional medicine. I mean, these things are largely embedded in spirituality. If you do not believe in it, if you have to believe in the traditional medicine, then you have to also do some ritual of some sort, So, and even up until now, you can't point to any place and say, okay, this is a school you go to and learn traditional medicine. Most of the people who are doing people who, because of the fact that they saw their father doing it and they go into it, or because they feel they can just put things together, in order for you to, get things done. So, how do you think that space can be regulated to the point that it will be, it will be like normal medicine? You go to school, you practice. I mean, you are sent for an IT, you're also sent to, certain places to learn, and then we can then, fine tune it for something that can be a lot better.
I would just like say and hide it under the cloak of that. You know, the normal saying they said, if you don't want an African to know something, put it on paper. We had to read. I will believe in traditional. This is our inheritance. I must confess, some, it works. Some person can tell you that, you know, it's in their lineage. Once they mix something and give you, how it works, I don't know. But
You have experienced it?
I know a lot of people who are doing, just even look at a lot of other people who are doing the same thing others are doing. Why are they thriving beyond the others?
That's true.
They are doing the same thing. They are giving the same medication that every other person is doing. So why would that person be? You know that there's some other thing in addition to not just being educated, not just being well skilled. Some may not even have the skill.
Absolutely.
Because of those spirituality you call, it still have that realm. I won't take it away from the fact. But still, I agree with you totally that there's high time we'll try to now put that into school. What I'm trying to say is a hard thing. We learn by apprenticeship. People go in Igbo culture, they say that it's Satan something. Then you learn it. Then Omalagama, it is indwelling in you. And then Satan will go and learn apprentice and then serve somebody and learn it. So if we can gather people just by way of those strict regulation, a school can be open and some of these top traditional medicine people can be encouraged. Now they can take people just like you're talking about, you know, or quite like what China has done. The traditional medicine is being an institution on its own. You can go in and learn. But in our own case, you will know you need to come from a particular family whom they said, once your bone is broken, once that person touches it, he heals. How he does it, but then
it's not magic, right? It's just
that's what I'm saying. You can't take away the spirituality in it. And you can't just like deny that fact. But the truth still remains that if I say that it's something that gets some people up to like learn it, enhance their learning. You know, you can speak English now. Somebody will interpret it in a better way. If it's not spirituality that explains it, they say body and flesh and blood didn't reveal it unto you. No, then that thing is what I feel. But in a way, if it still can be formalized, I think we're better off all this. And in that, those herbs, those leaves, can equally be subjected to, you know, tests, and people can find actually what is the active ingredients in them. Just like I said, how did malaria ACT drugs develop? A madman who was feeling sick and then came in a pool of a certain tree and just took a scoop from drain water around that, dirty as it may be. Then after drinking it, it got better. People around saw, wow, there must be something healing about it. Then I look at the back.
madman.
A madman.
That's a true life story.
Yes. Go and Google it now.
Okay, go ahead with the
The
story.
discovery of ACT, the anti-malaria drug. So he drank and then got better. The scientists, the pharmacologists now started investigating the bark of the tree. Found out that there's something in it, a chemical compound that help in that healing. And they started the formulation. And that's how we got this. So, and also, so many other drugs we're having in our daily use in orthodox medicine are derived from those natural sources. So if we have our own industry, traditional medicine industry, you know, being groomed and tailored in this way, a lot of pharmacology, a lot of our pharmacologists are still there lying waste, not doing anything. They can do some things by learning from these herbal people, knowing the herbs they do. I was surprised. There's this one they were telling me about. They said is my God, they say hospital is too far. Once you are not, you lack blood, once we get it, your blood will regenerate. Why wouldn't we know what actually in that leaf that makes it gets on? And so many people believe in that, and they don't. So, and I feel that if those natural ones, if you can be extracting the natural ones, it will go. Just like we are trying to discard the synthetic polythene that is causing havoc. The natural means can be more acceptable by our natural body more than those artificial chemicals that we produce. So it's a food for thought for our policymakers, for our regulators to think towards this direction, setting up a traditional medicine institutions where people can learn and get schooled about it. And let's see a way of dosing this our herbal medication, and everybody will be better off.
Fantastic. Let's talk about technology and how it can be infused in community medicine. We've seen several things that has been introduced via technology, to telemedicine, the operations on someone by the use of technology. I mean, to say it's faster, it's better, but then it looks like, in Nigeria, it's not yet something that has been welcomed, given that we are still having issues with power, because those things are largely powered by power. So I'm just thinking, how do you think technology can be infused in community medicine and also in practice?
If you are thinking on how it can be infused, you're wrong. I'll just tell you something. It's already part and parcel of community medicine. Technology is part and parcel of community medicine. To just like review or refresh our memory, community health practice in Nigeria came as early as 1978, after the Alma Ata Declaration of Public Health Care, primary health care is establishment, and that led to this community health practices. And what I'm trying to say is that one of the principles of primary health care, which is the bane of community medicine, is that appropriate technology had to be used. Some of the technology, if you use some borrowed technology, not the one that is locally based and is appropriate, it's bound to fail because of lack of sustainability. I'll give you one technology that it will not be like high-tech we are talking about.
Okay.
The oral rehydration therapy, ORT, right? Oral rehydration therapy is a technology the white men had done and put in search. But there is some other appropriate technology that we use, what we call salt sugar solution, SS. Salt is readily available in every home. Sugar is readily available in every home, if not then in next store around. And then water. That's what I mean, some villages that you can't see a chemist that is selling the ORT. So with that, this is a technology. You get a certain mixture of salt, put it with sugar, turn it with appropriate quantity of water, and you get your equal effect as the ORS will give you. So technology is the bane of every advancement, even in health and even in medicine. But what we are saying, is it ingenious? Is it localized? Is this something that you can always, hang on? Some of the borrowed technology we have, we can maintain them. We can look inwards and see. That's what I'm trying to say. If that, some of those drugs, some of those leaves, some of these things are things we can gather and we can use them within our locality, it can definitely help us. So technology is very wonderful and welcome. But what are the part of the technology I'm trying to emphasize are the appropriate ones that are locally based and really available, which every community can continue at the level of their development. Because that ones you just like can talk about because of what's it called? Because of corruption, because of impunity, you now see that even if those technology are imported, they will not be sustained. And some people will not give, they will give poor things. If you now see the sometimes appropriate ones we can get out a formal way of our cooling things. We can continue with those technology using what's it called, the clay soil in trying to. If we improve on this, we can go a long way in instilling more of our practices and affecting our local populace, which the community medicine are there to subserve. Now, you talk about what's it called, health education. Health education aspect of it, we'll use technology local to ourselves. Now, everybody is going on in internet. If you want to educate the populace, now, if a casting groups are always using Facebook, you use Facebook to communicate to them. Now the world, you scarcely will not see television sets now. Technology of television sets is almost moving. Phones are now taking the place of these cameras, televisions, because everyone can download a television app in his own phone and then view it at his own time and convenience. So we can deploy such technology in health education, and then in a sense, and people will be caught. And once that person is viewed, you will not get the education. There are other things. Saying it in a way or putting it across in a way that they can understand, in the language they can. So education, technology had been the bane to drive health, especially in terms of preventing diseases, in terms of promoting health, and in terms of prolonging life. And this is essence of community medicine.
On a final note, how do you think we can address vaccine hesitancy? We've seen that a lot of times. COVID-19 taught us a lot about vaccine hesitancy, especially even using the church. Some churches announce, outrightly that people should not get involved with the use of that. So how do you think we can address that?
Mine is just like we still can go on with our health education and the demystifying all that are there. But the critical thing is trying to solve the insincerity of government. Because the people are no more trusting the government. We are not believing what they are saying. They say A and do B. So they don't trust them, because they believe that even that they are being used as guinea pigs. Some are not telling us the truth. So, and then people are seeing that some of the vaccine constituents, some of these things you are seeing, for some of these has some things added to it that breed and encourage incessant or high level of infertility. So it's high time in Igbo, they said Itiobo Isaka. So that nobody will now suspect that you're using stone in that your boxing.
Right.
So
some of the sincerity in communicating some of these things.
Yes, and then in doing them, government should, because there always are. There's one, even the one they had in the northern states, where polio vaccine were rejected into that, because they found the insincerity of the government, and it was propagated that it is a way of sterilizing male, and everybody don't want to. So if governments are not doing the right thing they ought to, it's not. Sometimes they argue that it's not the same vaccine that Biden took in America that they have been shipping to us here in Nigeria. So there should be a whole lot.
Absolutely.
So I feel we should come clean and then try to demonstrate our sincerity, and then be true to our talk, and we'll walk our talk.
Right.
Two, we should equally try as much as possible to show all working. In mathematics, they tell you, show all working.
Absolutely.
Look at how this vaccine have been obtained before now. Yabatech, there's an industry in Yaba where vaccines were being produced in this country in the late years.
Right.
But that has ceased. If those things are being produced in our country, they will say the normal slogan, carbon kind.
Absolutely.
They will have buying in it. And they start, just like people are drinking hero,
Right.
saying that it's theirs. So these are the ways you can use to draw them to.
Right. Let's leave it here, Doctor. I mean, there's always another time to discuss this in a broader perspective, but we want to appreciate you just because of time. Just have to leave it here. Dr. Ugwunnasignature Chinedu, he's a consultant, community health physician, UNTH Ugwunnasignature. Thank you so much for your time. We truly appreciate your insight today.
Thank you. Thank you for the time.
Signature TV, news in your pocket.